I'm a big fan of the AR-15. The great thing about it is that you get as many bullets as you want. And if somebody's coming in your home to murder you or your children, guess what? You can have as many bullets as you need to defend yourself, and I think that's a big deal.
That was Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, speaking like someone who's never had to buy her own ammunition before, because believe me, that 5.56 NATO ain't free, lady. But Greene wasn't at work yesterday just to be an unhelpful idiot about AR-15s. In fact, she wasn't at work at all. Greene was in sunny Florida, where she was conducting so-called field research on Joe Biden's war on guns.
Good morning, everyone. I'm down here in Florida. We are doing a field hearing today about the ATF. It has been unprecedented during the Biden administration that the ATF has been targeting gun dealers and gun retailers across the country. One of the largest gun stores in the country, Adventure Outdoors, was a victim and target of an ATF unprecedented audit where they brought in 16 ATF agents from all over the countries, mostly from blue cities and blue states.
Now, let's be clear. What Greene is so mad about here is a routine ATF audit that any gun store with a federal firearms license agrees to. And of course, the ATF isn't required to let the gun store know they're coming, because that would be a really stupid way to conduct a surprise search. But for the GOP, following clearly laid out rules feels a lot like oppression. Though Greene never did explain why she was investigating a Georgia gun store by spending the weekend in Palm Beach, Florida. But over on Fox, the network's anchors have clearly read the polling. Not only does a supermajority of Americans support increased gun laws, but they blame Republicans for failing to protect their families from violence. A very serious voice, Trey Gowdy, has more.
Republican women actually have a different viewpoint than Republican men on what some people call gun control, Second Amendment rights. Is the party jeopardizing Republican women, or will they lose their base if they embrace things like red flag laws? Is there room for a big tent when it comes to mass shootings?
Oh my God, Trey Gowdy's got it. Because he's actually right. And Fox News polls have made that clear again and again. According to Fox, 87% of Americans support increasing background checks. 80% support mental health checks for gun buyers, and 77% support a waiting period. And in ruby red states like Utah and Tennessee, Republican governors are actually working to pass red flag laws in alliance with gun control groups. Pretty wild, huh? And more importantly for the GOP, gun policy is no longer looked at just through a left-leaning perspective. A full 2/3 of Republican voters support universal background checks and the red flag laws Gowdy mentioned. Numbers like that are enough to give Republicans electoral heartburn, especially when you add the tough fact that residents of households that own guns are actually more supportive of new restrictions. That puts those households at odds with Republicans' guns at any cost messaging. And it shouldn't surprise you that a gun debate has Republicans sweating, because their extremism is forcing them to defend insane situations like this one, where an elderly woman fired through her door at an innocent victim on the other side.
A 35-year-old mother of four fatally shot in front of one of her children by a neighbor. Tonight, calls growing for the shooter's arrest.
Charge her. You know who did it. Charge her.
Police say Ashika Owens was shot through her neighbor's door on Friday. This photo from the family's attorney showing the bullet hole. The incident coming after a long-standing neighborhood feud escalated between the shooter and Owens over Owens' children.
Well, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world talk about the virtues of every American kid having 2 guns at home. Regular Americans are seeing the real cost of America's obsession with firearms. According to the Pew Research Center, more Americans died from gun-related injuries in 2021 than in any other year on record. That's nearly 50,000 in total. Those deaths cut across red states and blue states, liberals and conservatives, men and women, young and old. More than half are suicides. That's an unsustainable number, not just for our politics, but for our society. Republican voters are finally saying enough is enough, but it's still not clear the GOP can hear the freight train headed right for them in 2024. And this isn't even the craziest conspiracy theory Republicans have cooked up. Check out this video, where I break down all the details of the GOP's Hunter Biden bribery scandal.
I mean, it's wild stuff, man.
And leave a comment below, so you can let me know what I should cover next.